Questions? Answers?
Thank you, Pastor Hines. Sure. First questions is about assets and independent ministry. When making an example of historical signs of Joseph, you mentioned three groups that had their assets saved. Pharaoh, Joseph and his family, and the priests. You mentioned it might be a good idea to have our resources under ministries. Please just expand slightly on that, especially in the threat of property rights. So just maybe to let you know as well, in South Africa, the historically disadvantaged people can come and claim land that others have bought. So it is a real threat in this country. And the government expropriates that land, sometimes with compensation, but far less than its value. So maybe just a little bit of context, if you could just share how you would recommend that.
So I'll talk about the United States, and we'll try to see if it transposes over to South Africa. So in the United States, there are charity status. 501s, 503 are the main. 501c3 is the main one. So when you log on to the website and say, how do I become a charity, a registered charity? All the information will lead you to 501c3. These charities are orchestrated, defined, and governed by government regulations. So if the government said at some stage, hey, you must accept LGBTQ+, then because you're a charity, you have to do so. If you do not, then they can confiscate all your assets, okay? Because you'll be shut down as a charity. A 508 is slightly different, and I don't know what it will be, what that charity status will be called in the United States. A 508 means you still have the charity status, but instead of being governed by the government, you come under the directorship of God as you know it. Okay? And so you can speak out against political figures. You can, and you can speak out against political figures and not come under any censorship by the government, okay? Because you define what is right and wrong. So you don't have to comply to any of their mandates or anything like that. So, but when it comes to I know in the UK, it's a community interest trust or company. That's what they set up, a community interest. Because my sister, who owns a wellness center over there, has her system set up as a community interest company. I don't know what it's called in South Africa, but there's somewhere you can create a charity with a religious affiliation that can protect you. When it comes to land rights,
okay, so I'll deal with that tomorrow more. And Paul Clicks and his team in Cape Town gave a very nice talk on different options and trusts and all of that stuff. I'm just updating you on what Shay explained on land claims. All right, so what's happened in South Africa, to gain more and more political votes, our government had a first land claims, they had a second round of land claims, and we're on a third round now. Okay? With the fights that have been going on in the constitutional courts and etc., they are not allowed to go on to the second and third round until the first round is finished. It all depends on different provinces where there are, like in some provinces, they're only about 40% finished of those land claims. It's taken them 30 years to do that. So if your property is, someone has put a land claim and you're on the second and third round, the farm that I'm farming, this week I had a government inspector come and do a land claim again. It's wasting time. They have to finish round one before they do it. So if anybody is selling a property and there's a land claim on them, they have to disclose anything So if it's round 1, you still have a risk. If it's round 2 and 3, the government doesn't have money, doesn't have the control, there's too much uncorruption, you are safe. All right, so I'm just letting you know, they have to disclose if there is a land claim that they're selling property to you. If it's round 1, you have a risk. If you're round 2 or 3, for the next long period, they can't get the land claim through. They have to finish round 1.